A camping trip can turn into a chilling encounter when you least expect it. So discovered a group of friends who set out one summer for a weekend of camaraderie and adventure in the thick woods. They anticipated the crackling bonfire, the shared stories, the thrill of living close to nature. What they did not expect, however, was the unseen terror that lurked in the shadows of the woodland. As night fell on their first day, the friends settled around the fire, laughing and reminiscing. But their merriment was soon interrupted by an eerie, unplaceable noise echoing through the trees. It was unlike any animal call they had heard, a chilling, otherworldly sound that seemed to resonate from the very heart of the forest. The laughter died away, replaced by a palpable sense of dread that wrapped around them like a shroud. Their fear was further amplified when they awoke the next morning to find their food supplies inexplicably depleted. They had securely stored everything the night before, yet now their provisions were gone. Adding to the mystery, they discovered a set of unfamiliar footprints around their campsite. Footprints that appeared human, yet were alarmingly large and oddly shaped. The friends were left grappling with the unknown. Who or what was making those strange noises? What had invaded their camp and taken their food? And most disturbingly, who did those footprints belong to? The forest, once a symbol of adventure and freedom, now seemed to harbour an unseen terror. Their anticipation of a fun camping trip had transformed into a primal fear of the unknown. As the sun rose on their last day, they packed up their camp, their hearts heavy with unease. They left the forest behind, but they could not leave behind the haunting experience. The strange noises, the missing food, the mysterious footprints. All these disturbing elements became a chilling memory, a terrifying puzzle that remained unsolved. As the sun rose, they were left with nothing but the chilling memory of a night they would never forget. Sometimes the true horror lies not within the unknown, but in the horrifying reality that we stumble upon. Picture a solo camper, let's call him John, a man who sought solitude in the embrace of nature. John was no novice to the wilderness. His annual tradition had taken him through many trails, forests and mountains, but this time his journey would take a turn for the Eerie. As the noon sun began to retreat behind the towering peaks, John found himself wandering off his usual path. The sight that greeted him was as unexpected as it was unsettling. An abandoned campsite. The remnants of a once lively gathering now lay in eerie silence. Tents were torn, sleeping bags were thrown about, and a fire pit was still smouldering, suggesting a hasty departure, or worse, a struggle. John investigated further, his heart pounding in his chest, like a drum echoing through the stillness. He found no trace of the camp's occupants, no footprints leading away, no signs of wildlife interference, no clues that could alleviate the growing sense of dread. The only testament to their existence was the chaotic scene that lay before him. The eerie silence of the forest seemed to grow louder, amplifying the unsettling evidence of a possible crime. The once comforting chirping of birds and rustling of leaves now seemed to whisper tales of horror and dread. John's mind began to race, playing out countless scenarios of what could have transpired there. The isolation he once sought now felt oppressive. The forest, once a source of tranquility, had morphed into a crime scene. The trees stood like silent witnesses, their shadows casting long, menacing figures that danced in the fading light. John's sense of adventure had always been his driving force, but on that day his survival instincts took over. He left the scene, his heart heavy with the grim reality he had stumbled upon. He left the woods that day, haunted by the chilling discovery and the unanswered questions that lingered in his mind. The forest, once his sanctuary, had been tainted with a story of terror, forever changing his perception of the wilderness he once loved. When the veil between the living and the dead blurs, a camping trip can turn into a nightmarish encounter. In the heart of an old historic site, a family embarked on what they thought would be an adventurous camping trip. Little did they know they were stepping into a realm where the past was not quite past. The site, steeped in history and mystery, held secrets that were waiting to be unveiled. As the sun began to set, the atmosphere started to shift. The once warm summer air turned inexplicably cold. The family huddled around the campfire, the flickering flames casting long, ominous shadows around them. The chill wasn't the only thing that was out of the ordinary. They began to notice something else, something that made their skin crawl. A figure, ghostly and ethereal, appeared to be lurking at the edge of their vision. The figure seemed to be caught between the realms of the living and the dead. It was there, yet not there. Every time they tried to look directly at it, it would dissolve into the darkness, only to reappear when they least expected it. The ghostly figure was not just seen, but also felt. An icy coldness seemed to radiate from it, creating cold spots in the surrounding air. The whispers came next, soft, barely audible. They sounded like echoes carried by the wind. The words were indistinguishable, but the tone was unmistakable. It was a plea, a cry, a whisper in the night that sent shivers down their spines. The family, once excited for their camping adventure, was now gripped by fear. Their laughter and chatter were replaced by a tense silence. The ghostly figure, the unexplained cold spots, and the terrifying whispers all combined to create an atmosphere of dread and unease. Their camping trip, meant to be a fun family outing, had turned into a chilling encounter with the unknown. The night was long and sleep was elusive. Every rustle of the leaves, every crackle of the fire amplified their fear. As they left the site, they carried with them a terrifying encounter that turned their fun camping trip into a chilling tale of horror. In the solitude of nature, we often find peace. But sometimes we stumble upon terrifying secrets that are better left undiscovered. Let's take a moment to revisit the chilling tales we've just heard. Firstly, we heard of the unseen terror, where the serenity of the wilderness was harshly broken by an invisible force, a chilling reminder that not all threats are visible to the naked eye. Then we ventured into the chilling discovery, a tale of a seemingly peaceful camping trip turned nightmare when a disturbing secret was unearthed. It's a haunting reminder that the ground beneath our feet may hold stories of unspeakable horror. Lastly, we experienced the ghostly encounter, a spine-tingling tale of an ethereal visitation that served as a chilling reminder that sometimes the past refuses to stay buried. Remember, the next time you venture into the woods for a camping trip, you might not be alone. These tales serve as a chilling reminder of the mysteries and horrors that lurk in the unseen corners of our world. The elements of horror in real-life situations are more than spine-tingling campfire stories. They are stark realities that we occasionally stumble upon. They unsettle us, they gnaw at our sense of safety, and they imprint onto our minds, leaving us forever changed. These true stories, both terrifying and fascinating, are shared experiences that bind us together in a collective apprehension. They serve as cautionary tales, reminding us to stay vigilant and respectful of the wild and the unknown. So, my dear listeners, don't hesitate to share your own eerie camping experiences. The comment section is a trove for tales, a space for you to share your own chilling narratives, your own brushes with the unknown. As we part ways, remember, not all who wander in the woods are lost. Some are merely visitors in a world unknown, a world that holds chilling tales yet untold.